Okay, here's a thought. What if the secret to, well, achieving everything you desire, especially something like financial abundance, isn't really about what you do? What if it's profoundly about who you are? This isn't just, some philosophical idea. It's actually the core insight we're diving into today. And honestly, it might just radically shift your whole approach to success. Now, look, if you're anything like me, or like many of us, you've probably set those big visions, right? You've taken action, maybe meditated, journaled, worked incredibly hard. You followed all the advice. But you still have that nagging feeling of being stuck. Or maybe success just always feels slightly out of reach. Yeah, it's a really common and incredibly frustrating place to be. Our sources today suggest a powerful, maybe surprising reason why this happens. It's this idea that your subconscious might be running on, let's say, outdated software. Think about trying to run a brand new, super advanced program on a really old computer. It just doesn't quite work. So our deep dive today is going to explore this method called the identity shift. It actually promises to bypass that old programming, potentially unlocking a whole new level of potential. And we're grounding this exploration in an excerpt titled Identity Shift, Becoming Your Millionaire Self.
Exactly. And our goal here today isn't just, piling on more information. It's really about trying to provide you with a powerful, actionable insight, something for real personal transformation. We want to help you understand why those traditional methods, even with all your effort, might be falling short. And more importantly, how to tap into something more fundamental. A shift in how you see yourself. It's about moving past just wishing for your future to actually becoming it. Understanding how your inner world really dictates your outer reality, and then crucially, how to intentionally realign that for, exponential success.
Okay, let's definitely unpack this. That premise is, it's really powerful, but it also brings up a lot of questions for me. If we're genuinely putting in the work, the meditating, journaling, all the right things, why do you think so many of us still hit that wall? Is it just technique? Sometimes I've definitely had that thought, am I just lazy, or am I missing something crucial here?
That's a completely understandable feeling, and it's something our sources tackle head on. What's really fascinating here is the perspective that it's not about being broken or lazy at all, not fundamentally. The core issue, potentially, is being out of alignment with your future successful self. Imagine trying to, build this amazing mansion, but you're using the blueprints for a tiny cabin. You're trying to do millionaire things, but maybe from a broke or struggling identity. And your brain, which is incredibly efficient, is actually hardwired to keep you safe and comfortable in your current reality, your current identity. So in a way, it's almost working against you if you're trying to force a new reality onto an old self-concept.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. I can think of so many times I've had a great idea, felt really motivated, but then this wave of self-doubt or limitation washes over me.
Okay.
And I just stop. It feels like this invisible barrier, almost like my own internal system is saying, nope, that's not for you.
Exactly. And that invisible barrier you're describing, it actually has a physiological basis, which is where this gets really interesting. Our sources talk about some fascinating research on something called the Reticular Activating System, the RAS. It's this small but pretty mighty network of neurons deep in your brainstem. A lot of people might know it helps with waking up or focusing, but its function seems to go way beyond that. Essentially, the RAS acts as your brain's very sophisticated filter. Think of it like your personal internal Google algorithm, maybe. It basically only allows information and opportunities that align with your current self-concept. So let's take the example from this source. If your internal identity, deep down, doesn't already see itself as wealthy or successful in a specific way, your brain will literally filter out the opportunities for wealth that might be all around you. It just doesn't register them as relevant. It's not some, mystical thing. It's presented as a physiological mechanism, actively screening out what doesn't fit your internal blueprint. So the takeaway isn't that opportunities aren't there or that you're broken. It's a misalignment. Your challenges aren't necessarily a sign of some fundamental flaw, but maybe more of a disconnect between your internal self-concept and what you're reaching for externally.
Wow. Okay. So if our brains are literally filtering out opportunities that don't match who we currently think we are, that changes everything, doesn't it? I mean, the problem isn't necessarily a lack of opportunity, but maybe our own internal GPS is set to the wrong destination. It's like, when you decide you want a specific type of car and suddenly you see that car everywhere, your RAS has been in tune to it, it's aligning your perception with that new focus. But if you never really decided you were the kind of person who drives that car, you just drive past them, completely unaware. This reframing is Yeah, it's incredibly potent. But okay, for someone who spent years focusing on doing things, on external actions, this idea of internal being might feel a little abstract. How do we make that internal shift feel more, tangible?
That's a really vital question. And this brings us right to the core solution proposed in the sources: the identity shift. The ultimate goal isn't just to get to some future vision, but to actually become the person who already lives that vision now. You have to start operating from the identity of the future you, not just trying to drag your current self towards it. This is potentially where many traditional manifestation techniques might fall a bit short. They often focus on wishing for the thing, without first becoming the person for whom that thing is just a natural outcome, almost inevitable.
That's a huge distinction. So instead of always asking, how can I get success, which kind of keeps you in that state of lacking or seeking,
Yeah.
the crucial new question is, who do I need to become to attract success?
Hmm.
It shifts you from just external striving to, well, internal embodiment. But, for someone who's tried vision boards, affirmations, positive thinking, this might still sound a little familiar. What makes this identity shift fundamentally different, according to the source?
It seems to be about the depth of the subconscious reprogramming. Traditional methods often work more on the conscious mind, and that conscious intention can be easily overridden by these deeply ingrained subconscious beliefs or identities. The identity shift aims deeper. It's about literally reprogramming your RAS by embodying the identity first. The idea is when you truly become that person internally, your RAS naturally starts to filter in the opportunities that align with this new identity. And then the doing part becomes less of a struggle, more of an intuitive flow. It's about establishing a completely new internal blueprint rather than just, say, painting the walls of the old one.
And this isn't just theory, right? The source material uses a personal journey to illustrate this really well. The author shared how for a long time they were working incredibly hard, doing all the right things, networking, strategy, the constant grind. But still, something was missing. Despite all that effort, the breakthroughs just weren't happening. They were hitting that invisible barrier we talked about.
Right. And the turning point described in the source came during a deep meditation session. It was this moment of really profound introspection where the author asked that specific pivotal question: who do I need to become in order to be a millionaire? Which is a totally different question than what do I need to do?
Mm.
Instead of getting another to-do list, the answer was this clear, powerful vision of a future self.
And that vision sounds like it was incredibly vivid. They saw the person they needed to become this version of themselves that was described as calm, confident, and had already achieved that success. So it wasn't about the struggle to get there. It was about embodying that state of being, that calm capability right now.
It sounds like that internal shift was almost instantaneous. It seems it was quite profound, yes. And from that vision, the actionable step taken was interesting, both simple and powerful. They actually used technology to support this internal shift. They created a short video asset called Becoming a Millionaire, using an AI voiceover from 11 Labs. This wasn't just a mental picture, it became a tangible anchor, a daily reminder of the identity they were stepping into. And the key point here, I think, is that it wasn't about pretending or being a millionaire immediately. It was about consistently embodying that version of oneself every single day. That's the practice, really. Living from the future, not just endlessly working towards it.
Okay, that brings us to a really practical point, especially now, the role of technology. How does AI fit into this? Is it just another tool for the doing, or can it be more integrated into this becoming process? Our sources are pretty clear that AI is not a magic pill, definitely not, but it is described as an incredible co-pilot on this journey.
Absolutely. AI can definitely supercharge the doing part, but the crucial thing is it works best after the identity shift has begun. Think of it as an accelerator, not the primary engine of change itself. So yes, the source mentions using AI to streamline content, manage your calendar, do practical things, or even like the author did, create a powerful visualization video for yourself. That's using AI to reinforce the becoming. Imagine AI generating personalized affirmations in your target identity's voice, or maybe creating scenarios to practice from that new self-concept. The possibilities are huge. But these tools serve to amplify and support the identity you've already consciously decided to step into. The sequence is what's critical here. The idea is when your inner world shifts, your outer world has no choice but to follow. AI then becomes this incredibly powerful extension of that internal shift. So yeah, you can absolutely use AI to build your business, optimize everything, create amazing things. But first, you have to use your mind, your intention to build that millionaire identity, or whatever identity you're aiming for. The internal blueprint comes first.
Okay, so bringing this all together, what does this mean for you, the listener, right now? How do you actually put this
identity shift into practice. Because it sounds great, but we need the how-to. The sources give some wonderfully clear, actionable steps that seem to go beyond just, wishful thinking. They directly engage that RES we talked about.
Okay, here's the practice outline. First step. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, just let yourself settle. Second, ask yourself that really powerful question. Who do I need to become to attract the success I desire? And really mean it. Third, just listen. Don't force it. Listen for the answer. It might show up as a feeling, maybe a clear visual, maybe just a single word or thought. Trust whatever comes up. That's your subconscious responding. Fourth, once you have some clarity on that future self, use tools. AI is great for this, but other tools work too. Find images, find music, maybe find an AI voice that really aligns with that future self, that identity you're stepping into. Could be a picture embodying confidence, music that makes you feel powerful, a voice speaking affirmations as that future self. Fifth, create your own personal identity shifting asset. Could be a short video, a dynamic vision board, something that really stimulates your senses and embodies this new identity. And finally, six, and this is really key for reprogramming your RAS, watch it, engage with it every morning and every night. That consistent, repetitive exposure to your future self's identity is how you start to rewrite the subconscious programming. You're essentially training your brain to filter in opportunities aligned with that new narrative.
That's such a clear, powerful roadmap that really does make the abstract feel tangible. Gives us a direct way to work with our own internal systems. And it brings us right back to that core mantra, doesn't it? The one that sums up this whole deep dive. Stop trying to manifest and start becoming. Wow, what a profound shift in perspective we've explored today. This journey from focusing only on external actions to really understanding the huge, often unseen power of our internal identity. It really is present a different path to success, maybe a more effective one. And that simple question, who do I need to become? It just holds so much potential power, mainly because it works with your subconscious filter, not against it. It really makes you pause and reflect on your current self-concept, doesn't it? And how that might be quietly influencing everything, every experience, every opportunity in your life right now.
Absolutely. And if we just zoom out for a second, connect this to the bigger picture, it raises a really important question, I think. If our identity shapes our reality to this degree, what other areas of our lives beyond just money could be totally transformed by intentionally shifting who we are instead of just focusing on what we do? Think about it. How could this identity shift principle apply to becoming, say, a more confident speaker, or a more compassionate leader, a more resilient person, maybe even just a more joyful individual? What if it starts by simply deciding to be that person first, embodying it now? The universe, or maybe more accurately, your own reticular activating system, just might follow suit. Imagine the possibilities when your internal GPS is finally truly aligned with your highest aspirations. Something to think about.